They say there is a special place in hell for lawyers. Now, while I had been to hell myself, I couldn't say one way or another if it was true. I did know Christy Fontenelle was as fierce a lawyer as a dresser. Clad in fitted trousers and a matching blazer, her fire truck red heels a sharp contrast to the black of her suit and her lipstick the same shocking red of her shoes, Christy was able to make the strongest of men quiver in fear of her frown. I wasn't a man, or human for that matter. So, her laser gaze, which scanned up and down my form, was a wasted effort. I sat in the witness stand, arms crossed, my foot tapping impatiently, something Christy zeroed in on immediately. "Nervous, Miss Wiles?" she asked in a husky voice. I'd bet she had all the men in her firm scurrying for her favor. I sure would have had I been interested in women. Alas, the voice I was interested in belonged to the person waiting for me to show up for our first official date. "Impatient," I shot back, not giving any more information than needed. Her lips ticked up at the edges, but the smile didn't meet her eyes. "Well, I'll try to make this as quick as possible. We wouldn't want to inconvenience you while we tried to catch a killer, now would we?" The utter disdain in her voice didn't faze me. I'd appreciate it. Christy's startled expression told me she hadn't expected my response. Good. I wouldn't want to make this any easier for her. Thompson, who sat behind the plaintiff's side of the courtroom, huffed audibly. He had never liked to bring me to court. He knew I'd tell the truth no matter how gruesome or unsavory it may be. He'd once tried to ask me to bend my story a bit so we could get a guaranteed conviction, but when I'd refused, he'd responded by not talking to me for a month. Thompson, and the rest of the police force, said I was a wild card. I might be a great resource for law enforcement, but I could sure make things harder for the good guys. I didn't blame them for any of it. As a former archangel, I was still wired to be honest and seek justice the right way. I was slowly, but surely, learning my angelic ways were naive and pointless in the human world. It wasn't often I was asked to appear in court for some case or another, but when I did, I always found the experience unpleasant. Today was no different. The accused, Peter Billings, was a fairly attractive man with light brown hair, green eyes, and an athletic build, probably due to spending more time at the gym than with his wife. Former wife, I corrected myself. "Let's get to the point," Christy said, clasping her hands in front of her as she posed for the court. "You were hired by the wife of my client, Peter Billings, to follow him, correct?" "Yes," I gave a short nod. "And what were you hoping to find by following him?" Her head cocked to the side, causing her hair to fall across her forehead. My eyes narrowed. She knew exactly why I had been following him. As a private investigator, I mainly handled cases the police had already closed that the family wanted investigated further. Unfortunately, as a former angel, I attracted the weird and supernatural. So I ended up doing a lot of dispossession and hauntings. But more often than not, most of my cases involved cheating spouses. Peter Billings fell into the last category. I didn't hope anything, I shook my head, but Mrs. Billings believed Mr. Billings was having an affair. Christy pretended to think on it for a moment and then asked, "So she hired you to take pictures of him with another woman?" "Yes." My answer made Christy smile. "If you were supposed to be taking pictures of Mr. Billings and another woman, why were you taking photos of him and his wife? Is that part of your job as well, or are you just a peeping Tom?" The courtroom audience laughed, and Christy's smile broadened. She had them in the palm of her hand, and she knew it.